magical beavers.
So there's this dude, Phil Connors, and he's a reporter, and he has to go to this town called Punxsutawney, Philadelphia, to do a report on Groundhog Day, which is when a bunch of people pull a mammal from the earth, and that tells them the weather. And he's like, wow, you know what I love? This. Just kidding. The opposite of that is true. I hate all of you, and this day. Well, at least I won't have to do it again. And then that same day happens again. And he's like, well, this is weird. At least I won't have to do it again. And then that day happens again. And he's like, I am not okay with this. Someone please help me. And these people are like, here, take this. It'll work. It does not work. Then he's like, well, guess I better be the worst person ever. Then he starts just like punching people and doing people. And he's like, well, this is pretty cool. But what I actually want is my new producer, Rita, who is a woman. But then he can't. So he's like, well, it seems like I'm pretty much immortal. Let's try to change that. And he does not succeed. So he's like, hey, Rita, I've had a crazy day. You want to hear about it? Oh, and he tells her he knows everything about her. And that comes off as endearing instead of creepy. Somehow. Then eventually he's like, what if I was like a good person? And then he does that. And Rita's like, wow, you're a great person. I now want to sleep with you after one day of knowing you. It feels like cool. And then he wakes up the next day, and it's the next day. How great. Love was the solution all along. And that's the end. That's just how it ends. Being a good person on its own didn't cause his cycle to end. It was just finally hooking up with the woman he wanted to hook up with. Great message there. So the creator of Groundhog Day, like the movie, the Bill Murray movie this was adapted from, has straight up said, yeah, I don't really have any, like, deep meaning behind it. You know, I just thought it would be a cool story. And not having a deeper meaning when you wrote something is the surest way to make people put their own deeper meanings on it. Like, if you read it as like an example of the cycle of reincarnation, you could read it as a religious thing, but Tim Minchin is an atheist, so let's not. Instead, I want to talk about Sonder, which is a made-up word, but all words are made-up words. Basically, it's realizing that the people around you are people, and that everybody who has ever been a person is a person. In the previous episode I did about Groundhog Day, I talked about empathy, and Sonder is like empathy taken up to 11, kind of. I find it really interesting how long it takes Phil to come around. It takes probably like several lifetimes for him to think, oh, these people that are here with me are people. Phil's mindset is basically that he is the only person in the world that is actually a person, which makes sense considering his situation. I mean, if you found yourself in a Groundhog Day situation, you would probably immediately be like, well, I must be the only person that matters in the entire universe, because it's kind of true in that instance. I think there's actually like a switch that you have to turn on manually. I feel like your default mode is just focused on you, and it's like selfish, but in a way that's like humanly selfish, because like of course that's how you're gonna act. We as a society don't teach our children, we don't ingrain at an early age to feel what other people are feeling, to think about what other people are feeling. We're told what we must do to be proper. We're told how much pressure is on us to do the things that we have to do. And we also don't ingrain the value of community, which sounds so flippin' pretentious. But actually, what if we thought about the collective instead of ourselves? What if our default setting was to everyone instead of us? What if we all had a Groundhog Day? But maybe we don't need one. So let me get out of the lofty philosophical clouds and get into actionable territory. Here's something you can do. The next time you're standing in line at the grocery store, the next time you're in traffic, the next time you're at work, just honestly imagine yourself in the place of the other person. Not in order to achieve some higher goal of enlightenment, just because. Just as an exercise. There's your homework, class. Here's something that has always fascinated me. People always say, well, if I were you. But if they were you, they would be you. If they had the exact same experiences as you, they would be the exact same person as you are. That's how it works, I think. Everyone got to the place that they are through a very complex series of events. And we don't need a Groundhog Day to experience all of those things firsthand. Maybe all we need to do is ask them. That got like way too serious. I'm actually auditioning for the Nerd Writer. Anyway, leave a comment telling me what you think of literally anything that was said in this video. I'm uploading new Broadway Radicals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, bye.